We haven't been very consistent. Every 2 weeks is what our consistency is.
Yeah.
But last week, I was in bad shape. It was bad. I don't normally get that sick. It wasn't COVID. I tested. Wasn't that. Fever for days. Crazy. And that's where we are. That's our update.
Sickness went around.
Yep. Now we're back at it. And hopefully we can get on a weekly thing. Maybe we could even record sooner and have one in the can ready to go. Not wait until Sunday night to record for our Monday episode. That's crazy. Anyway, you're Phoenix, I'm Will, and we're here to bring on the questions.
All the links. linktree.com/BOTQS.
We haven't started our merch store yet, but I think we should. What kind of merch are you going to have?
I don't know.
I think it's more about the designs than it is the product the designs are on. Stickers? Stickers would be cool. But what kind? One of these fellas?
Maybe.
One of them cryptids? More. Not just one of them, but a bunch of them. Yeah. The links are, by this point, hopefully everybody knows that all the audio things are the Spotify's and the Apple Podcasts and Buzzsprout and Podbean and things like that.
All the places.
Yep. Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. That's where you can see the visuals. TikTok. I haven't been keeping up with that stuff either because I've been sick. Because I was sick for a while. Hopefully I get back into the habit this week. You should have access to all that stuff. So you can post stuff too. So, Miss Phoenix, what question are we bringing in this episode?
Why do we consider Friday the 13th bad?
We're a couple days out from the Friday the 13th. I wanted this episode to go up last week when there was a Friday the 13th coming up. But we didn't. That's okay. We're still going to talk about it. The next Friday the 13th in 2026 is in November.
3 this year.
Mm-hmm.
Dang.
Does Friday the 13th make you a little superstitious? Or just a little stitious?
Just a little stitious.
It's weird. Friday the 13th is kind of crazy. And we'll get into all that, but I don't know. It's either people are really put weight on the fact it's supposed to be a bad omen, bad luck, or they don't. I mean, a lot of businesses, a lot of corporations have put things into place that they avoid the number 13. On a lot of airplanes, there's not a seat 13. It goes from 12 to 14. But obviously, 14 is the 13th one. Hello. There's some buildings that don't have a 13th. Well, it says it doesn't have a 13th floor, but obviously the 14th is the 13th floor.
They just don't say it is.
Right. It's a whole thing. The phenomena of Triskaidekaphobia. How do you say that?
Triskaidekaphobia.
Triskaidekaphobia. Let me go with that. Triskaidekaphobia?
Yeah.
Triskaidekaphobia. Defined as the morbid and irrational fear of the number 13, along with its specialized variant, paraskevidekatraphobia. The fear of Friday the 13th represents one of the most enduring and economically impactful superstitions in Western society. While contemporary civilization often prides itself on a foundation of scientific rationalism, the persistence of these numerological taboos suggests a deep-seated psychological resonance that transcends simple folklore. Current economic assessments indicate that the United States suffers productivity and commerce losses ranging between $800 million and $900 million on every Friday the 13th, as millions of individuals deliberately alter their behavior, canceling flights, postponing medical procedures, and avoiding major financial transactions. We'll try to deconstruct the multi-centennial evolution of these beliefs, tracing their origins from ancient mathematical philosophy and Norse mythology to religious narratives and modern literary fabrications, while simultaneously evaluating the objective risks associated with the number 13 in contemporary infrastructure.
I'm not that stitious.
No?
No.
There's just things that have happened in history that's wouldn't to me it's weird. It's more than coincidence, but how much weight can you put on that more than coincidence? We'll get into all that, like the deep historical things about it, but there's something about it that doesn't quite make sense to me, and that's why I don't think I put the weight into it.
If anything, my past Friday the 13th has been pretty good.
Oh, what happened this past Friday the 13th?
My school dance.
Oh. Where you dance with the boys
No.
while you glow in the dark?
Quite the opposite.
You didn't glow in the dark.
Oh, I did glow, but I didn't dance with boys. Because
Did you cut a rug? That is an old-timey saying for dancing.
I danced.
Are you going to go down there and cut a rug? What? What are you even doing? Who cuts rugs?
Am I cutting rugs with my heels?
I guess. But why does a dance floor have rugs?
Traction?
For who?
People with slippery shoes?
When was that ever? When was it ever a thing?
I don't think
50 years ago in the 70s, because the 70s was 50 years ago, disco was hardcore and there were no rugs involved. Maybe shag carpeting for after parties, but nobody was dancing on carpet. Anyway, we're not talking about weird phrases.
At the foundational level of human cognition, the
Vilification
of 13 is inextricably linked to the historical and mathematical veneration of the number 12. Across numerous ancient civilizations, including the Sumerians, Babylonians, and Egyptians, 12 was regarded as the ultimate symbol of cosmic order and, quote, divine completeness. The utility of 12 is derived from its status as a highly composite number possessing divisibility by 2, 3, 4, and 6, which facilitated early advancements in geometry, commerce, and timekeeping.
The mathematical perfection manifested in the structural organizations of human society, the 12 signs of the zodiac, the 12 months of the solar year, the 12 tribes of Israel, the 12 gods of Olympus, and the 12 hours that constitute half of a diurnal cycle. Within this framework, 13 appears not merely as a successor, but as a disruptor, a prime number that defies the established modular harmony. From a sociological and psychological perspective, the aversion to 13 stems from a, quote, felt sense of anomaly, where the transition from the familiar and useful 12 to the unruly 13 triggers a subconscious association with chaos and unpredictability. This symbolic shift from order to chaos is articulated by researchers as the 12 plus 1 problem, where 13 represents the first, quote, first departure from divine completeness. This provides the underlying trend that allowed various unrelated historical and mythological events to coalesce into a singular, pervasive superstition.
Is that why people don't like teens?
It could be. It's the transition into the teen, the 13. And that's when chaos happens.
You're living in it.
Have you been chaotic since your birthday in January? 2 months of chaos?
If you call coming out of my shell chaos, then I guess I have.
Coming out of your shell. You broke through the completeness.
The
divine completeness.
The conformity.
You're out. Come out of the shell. The divine completeness broke wide open.
Yep. A primary?
Yeah.
A primary historical pillar for the fear of 13 is found in the ancient mythology of the Scandinavian peoples. In Norse tradition, a pivotal moment of cosmic shift occurs during a banquet held in Valhalla for 12 of the Aesir gods. The trickster god Loki, having been excluded from the invitations, arrived as the uninvited 13th guest. Loki's presence introduced immediate discord into the divine assembly. Through deception and manipulation, he engineered a scenario where the blind god Hodor unwittingly struck and killed Balder, the beloved god of joy, light, and goodness, using a mistletoe-tipped arrow. The death of Balder was more than a localized tragedy. It was the catalyst for universal sorrow and the precursor to Ragnarok, the apocalyptic end of the gods. This mythic archetype established the, quote, 13th guest motif, a belief that 13 people dining together would inevitably court death or betrayal. While historians like Stephanie Hall note that original Norse texts do not always explicitly count the guests as 13, the cultural adaptation of the story served to cement the number's association with the malevolence in the Germanic and Nordic traditions.
Here we go. Another Norse story sprinkled in. Loki was the 13th guest. And I could see the historian Stephanie Hall. They didn't explicitly say Loki was this uninvited 13th guest. Didn't explicitly say that. I'm assuming they just named everybody else and then Loki just showed up. They didn't specifically say he's number 13. Now we got a problem. They just had everybody else already there.
That reminds me of more about the Last Supper and how Judas was the 13th person, and he's the one who betrayed Jesus.
The transition of the 13 taboo from a regional mythological theme to a dominant Western superstition was facilitated by Christian narratives surrounding the Passion of Christ. The New Testament accounts of the Last Supper place Jesus and his 12 apostles in the upper room, bringing the total attendance to 13. Within the popular imagination, Judas Iscariot, the apostle who betrayed Jesus to the Roman authorities, is identified as the, quote, 13th guest to take his seat at the table. There you go.
Betrayal.
Yep. Another 13th guest betrayal. But again, my argument for that is we went over the calendar. Well, I guess this is more about the number 13 rather than the day of Friday the 13th. But I think that the next little paragraph there, read that kind of sort of addresses it, I guess.
This association with betrayal and subsequent death was further compounded by the timing of the crucifixion. The Last Supper occurred on a Thursday,
Maundy,
Thursday, and the execution of Jesus took place on the following day, which became known as Good Friday. Consequently, Friday and the number 13 became individually stigmatized. 13 for the presence of the betrayer, and Friday for the actual day of the crucifixion.
Oh, so I was under the assumption that happened on a Friday the 13th. But no, it was a combination of things. So Judas was the 13th guest, and then Friday, Jesus was executed? Crucified?
Crucified.
Yeah, it says the execution of Jesus took place on the following day. But yeah, crucified. So it wasn't necessarily a Friday the 13th, but my chronological, I don't know. My argument, I don't know what I'm trying to say. But the calendar was super wishy-washy 2026 years ago. We talked about the calendar. How for sure do we know? Can we trace our days back and transition into that calendar and know for sure that it was a Thursday, Friday situation? I don't know. Maybe. How sure are we that it was a Thursday, Friday? Because this was still during the time when, right? I think it's, I don't think they were established a regular winter, or they didn't bother with the calendar for the winter months in this time of Jesus. Or was that BC? Is the whole Roman thing BC? I don't remember.
I think
Julius Caesar.
Julius was BC.
Was he?
Yeah. Because I think
100 BC, so 100 years before the Christ story.
So they did have.
Not quite. Like, how was he born? July 100 BC. But then he was assassinated March 15th, 44 BC. Was he 60? No. I guess that would make him 56 years old. Yeah, that makes sense. That's fine. So it was 44 years after Julius Caesar. The calendar was still pretty wishy-washy. They were still messing with it in that time. So I guess there could be an argument there that maybe it was a Friday, maybe it wasn't.
Well, his death, because AD is Anno Domini, which is Year of the Lord in Latin.
Right.
So his death would be in AD.
Like 34 or something.
Yeah.
Because, I'm pretty sure he was only in his 30s.
Probably.
Right? He walked through the desert for 40 days and 40 nights, not 40 years. What year did Jesus die? '30. Either AD 30 or AD 33. How about that?
Jesus was in his 30s when he died.
Barely.
Is that why people have a midlife crisis in their 30s?
Maybe. How deep into the science do you want to go? Supposedly, all your cells in your body are all new every 27 years.
So my cells won't be new until I'm 27?
Your cells you're still producing, you're getting rid of dead cells, you're producing new cells, but all of your cells from the time you were born to 27 will have cycled to new in 27 years. And there's a whole thing about, is it Theseus' ship? If you replace all the parts on a ship, if you slowly replace all the parts on a ship, when does it become a new ship? Oh, you stumped?
When every part has been replaced.
So you're a whole new person every 27 years? Midlife crisis. The second 27 would be 54. So now you've just cycled through 2 versions of yourself. Something like that. I would put more weight on that than I would the whole Friday the 13th business. Scientifically, I guess.
Yeah, because there's more scientific evidence.
Right.
Than just the
superstitions and paranormal. I want to believe, I want to have crazy experiences like that, but I don't know.
I mean, these Friday the 13th could be good just because I am 13. So maybe next year, Friday the 13th won't be as good.
Luck is what you make it.
It's all about perception.
Mm-hmm.
That's all it is.
Yep. You blame it on all that. Anyway, we'll keep going. The cultural memory of these events fostered a, quote, double whammy effect when the 13th day of a month coincided with a Friday. Furthermore, traditionalist interpretations of the book of Genesis and early folklore often attributed other catastrophes to Fridays, including the expulsion of Adam and Eve from the Garden of Eden and the murder of Abel by his brother Cain, although these associations are not explicitly dated in the biblical text. This layering of religious and pseudo-biblical themes transformed a mathematical anomaly into a spiritual warning. I mean, Adam and Eve, bro, that was a while ago. They didn't even know what day of the week it was.
That was BC.
Supposedly they were hundreds of years old though, when God finally took them.
When they ate the apple. Or when Eve ate the apple.
That's when they got kicked out of the Garden of Eden, supposedly on a Friday now, apparently.
Whatever floats your boat. By the late Middle Ages and the Renaissance, the superstition had expanded into the realms of the occult and military history. The evolution of tarot cards, which emerged in the 15th century, the, quote, death card, was consistently assigned the number 13. Documented evidence from 1565 in Francesco Piscina?
Mm-hmm. And you don't have to bumble your way through the rest of those Latin words or whatever. Just Francesco Piscina's Discorso Sopra. I say leave it at that.
Will that be Discorso or Discorso?
Oh, I don't know. How much Latin do you know? I don't.
I mean, I'm singing a song in Latin and chorus, so. But Discorso was Francesco's.
Yeah, start over.
Francesco Piscina's Discorso Sopra.
Done.
Latin.
Yep.
Confirms that the numbering of the death card as 13 was an established convention by the 16th century. This visual association between the digits 1 and 3 are the imagery of the pale horse or the skeletal reaper, further solidified the number's morbid reputation in Catholic Europe.
Simultaneously, the era of witch hunts saw the emergence of the belief that a coven of witches must consist of exactly 13 members, 12 followers, and the devil, serving as a profane parody of Christ and his apostles. This served a tactical purpose for inquisitors who used the presence of 13 individuals at a gathering as proof of demonic pacts. Another goofy thing. Witches! There's 13 of them! Or is there 12 and then the devil is understood to be there?
Yeah. 12 disciples and
Judas.
a persistent but largely inaccurate historical theory links the fear of Friday the 13th of the suppression of the Knights Templar. On Friday, October 13, 1307, King Philip the
Fourth
of France has orchestrated the mass arrest of the order's members, leading to their subsequent torture and execution on charges of heresy. While this event was a genuine historical tragedy, historians agree that it was not recognized as the origin of Friday the 13th superstition until the late 20th century. The popularization of this slang is largely attributed to the modern fiction such as Dan Brown's The Da Vinci Code, which utilized the historical date to provide a dramatic backstory for the phobia. In reality, medieval populations lacked the calendar literacy required to maintain a cultural taboo based on a specific date from 1307.
One of the most widely circulated ancient justifications for the 13 superstitions is the claim that the Code of Hammurabi, written around 1754 BCE, deliberately omitted a 13th law due to its unlucky nature. Analysis of this claim reveals it to be a modern myth stemming from a clerical error in early translations. The original stele of the Hammurabi Code was not numerically listed by its Babylonian creators. The numbering system utilized today was introduced by 20th century scholars for ease of reference. The quote, missing 13th law was first reported in the translation by L.W. King, who accidentally skipped a block of text during the transcription process. Other contemporaneous and later translations, such as the one produced by Robert Francis Harper, include the section corresponding to the 13th article. Despite the demonstrable error, the narrative remains popular among those seeking to prove that Triskaidekaphobia has an authority dating back nearly 4 millennia. Clerical error.
The specific coupling of Friday and the number 13 as a unique day of terror, how do you say it?
Paraskevidekatriaphobia.
Paraskevidekatriaphobia is a relatively modern development that gained momentum in the 19th century. Prior to this period, Friday was considered an unlucky day for travel or new ventures, as noted by Geoffrey Chaucer in the 14th century, and 13 was an unlucky number for dinner parties, but the two were rarely discussed in conjunction. The earliest documented written references to their combination appear in French literature in 1834. In the magazine Revue de Paris, the Italian author Marquis di Salvo referred to a Sicilian count who committed a filicide on a Friday the 13th, remarking the perennial bad luck of the date. Filicide is the killing of one's child. That same year, the play
La Finesse de Gribouille? Sure.
That. By Philippe Francois Pinel Dumanoir featured a character who claimed to be born on Friday, December 13th, 1813, citing it as the source of all his misfortunes. By the late 1800s, this connection had crossed into the English-speaking world, famously noted on the death of composer Gioacchino Rossini on Friday, November 13th, 1868.
A lot of coincidence. I think it's just a whole bunch of coincidence. But I guess on that, when does coincidence become meaningful? I don't know, man. You can also have super bad luck on, say,
Thursday the 12th.
Thursday the 12th. But I was going to do something like Wednesday the 13th. or Friday the 17th.
Scary.
Any day you could have bad luck. Any day you could have good luck. That's how I look at it. But I don't, it just seems a lot of coincidence, in my opinion. And then people just take it to heart, which I guess, but is this not a case of, I know there's a word for it, but like when somebody gets a new car, suddenly you see those cars everywhere.
Yeah, like when I started getting into Harry Potter, I started noticing that there was so much more Harry Potter around.
Yeah, right, exactly. So until you start putting the weight on that thing, putting your focus on that thing, you're not going to notice the things around you.
Like they fall into the background.
Right. It's sort of a um oh I, it's right on the tip of my tongue. You're self-fulfilling prophecy. You know, you expect this thing to happen, so then suddenly things are in motion for this thing to happen on this day.
Like you expect it so much that you start acting like it is already happening, and then it eventually does happen.
Right. It's like, so now you're putting all that time and energy into that thing. Now you're focused on, that's all the bad luck right there. I'm pretty sure that's the case of it. Like, Mondays always suck because it's the first day of the work week, school week. So now more people, I'm pretty sure this is an average thing. More people have some kind of, or heart attacks are more likely on a Monday, regardless if you have Monday off or not.
Because everyone perceives Mondays as so bad.
Right. And people perceive Friday the 13th as so bad, or 13 alone as so bad. And then they put all their energy into trying to avoid it, which inevitably causes the effect anyway. No. That's, again, I'm not superstitious, just a little stitious. While many cultural factors contributed to the superstition, Thomas W. Lawson, a prominent American financier and author, served as the primary catalyst for its solidification in the 20th century public consciousness. As history goes, that's very recent. Lawson was a complex figure who balanced a career as a successful stockbroker with a secondary role as a muckraking journalist, often manipulating the markets he claimed to expose. In 1907, Lawson published his influential novel, Friday the 13th. The narrative depicts an unscrupulous broker who exploits the psychological unease of the date to induce a massive financial panic on Wall Street. The book was a major commercial success, selling over 60,000 copies within 30 days. Its impact was so profound that it shifted the perception of Friday the 13th from a minor folkloric quirk to a recognized omen of institutional collapse. Following the novel's release, the New York Times and other major periodicals began reporting on the date without the comma between the day and the number, writing, quote, Friday the 13th instead of Friday the 13th, effectively coining the term as a proper noun for a single event.
As the fear of 13 reached its peak in the late 19th century, a backlash of organized rationalism emerged in New York City. Captain William Fowler, a Union veteran of the Civil War, sought to actively debunk the, quote, 13 at a table myth. Fowler had a personal affinity for the number, having survived 13 battles and graduated from school at age 13. In 1882, Fowler founded the 13 Club, a society dedicated to the systematic violation of every popular superstition. The club's inaugural meeting was held on Friday, January 13th at 8:13 p.m. in room 13 of the Knickerbocker Cottage. Knickerbocker?
Well, that's what it was. That was somebody's name at some point.
That's like an English insult.
Knickerbocker? What?
It sounds like an English insult.
Why?
Like British.
What?
Because Knickerbocker.
Like knickers? Is it underwear?
I don't know.
And Bocker?
It sounds like such an English word.
Oh.
And it sounds like a weird insult that British people would say to each other.
Maybe. It's just in your head?
Yeah.
Your head canon?
The 13 founding members passed under a ladder to enter the room, dined on 13 courses, and deliberately spilled salt and smashed mirrors throughout the evening. The club's motto was Morituri te salutamus. Yeah.
Yeah, go with it.
Those of us about to die salute you. A mocking reference to the fate the public expected for them.
And?
Did they die?
Well, they started a whole club and it lasted for a while, so no. He had good luck with the number 13. So
I mean, that's what happened to me.
and that's what I'm saying. If you put all of your negative energy into the thing, then you're going to get negative outcomes. But all of these things all those positive things happen to him with the number 13. Captain William Fowler, he
survived 13 battles.
Survived 13 battles, graduated school at age 13, and then he started the 13 Club. Like, come on, he's just people with that superstition or think they're asking for trouble. They walk under a ladder to enter the room, so now they've defiled the Trinity, smashing mirrors. So they're breaking their soul according to the Roman thing.
And they're spilling salt.
Yep. And fighting demons in. They do their thing. And I don't know. Everyone dies eventually.
Yeah. It's way of life.
Contrary to superstitious expectations, the club thrived, eventually reaching over 1,000 members and counting 5 future U.S. presidents, including Theodore Roosevelt and Grover Cleveland, among its ranks. Their most tangible success was the rehabilitation of Friday's legal reputation. They successfully lobbied judges to end the practice of, quote, Hangman's Day, where all executions were held on Fridays, thereby breaking a major historical link between the day and the death. Don't have time for your stupid superstitions.
The influence of
Triskaidekaphobia.
Triskaidekaphobia is most visible in the physical infrastructure of modern urban centers. It is estimated that approximately 85% of high-rise elevator panels in the United States omit the number 13. This is not an admission of genuine risk by architects or engineers, but a response to the psychological discomfort of tenants and hotel guests. Data from the Otis Elevator Company indicates that for every building that labels its 13th floor correctly, 6 other buildings opt to skip the number, jumping directly from 12 to 14.
This institutionalized superstition has significant economic implications. Real estate developers often relabel the 13th floor as 12B, 14, or M for mezzanine to avoid potential vacancies or reduce rental values. A 2007 Gallup poll revealed that 13% of American adults would be bothered by staying in a room on the 13th floor of a hotel. a significant enough portion of the market to drive construction standards. Sociologists note that by accommodating these fears, corporations like Otis and major hotel chains inadvertently validate the superstition, creating a social reality where the quote unluckiness of the 13th floor is reinforced by its conspicuous absence.
How can you be bothered by staying at a hotel?
On the 13th floor?
So, I'm more concerned that you have 13 floors as a hotel.
Yeah, in our life, we don't often enter into buildings that have 13 floors.
Most you're having is like 6.
Around us, yeah. There's a couple of buildings in Williamsport that would have that many, but we have no reason to go into those buildings.
So,
Hospitals don't have that many floors around here.
I mean, they're big, but they're just spread out.
Right.
They're like a rubber band, like instead of being tall, they're wide.
Right. So, I mean, it doesn't affect us. Or we are.
The global aviation industry represents another sphere where Triskaidekaphobia dictates operational policy. Numerous major airlines omit row 13 from their cabin configurations to preempt passenger anxiety and reduce the logistical burden of seat change requests. This practice is particularly prevalent among European and Middle Eastern carriers, while several major U.S. airlines maintain consecutive numbering.
The decision to skip row 13 is often framed as a, quote, policy of comfort. Jacob Drake, a licensed aircraft engineer, knows that the absence of row 13 has zero impact on the physical safety or engineering configuration of the plane. It is merely a, quote, a number on the wall. However, the cost of superstitious behavior is real. Airlines that retain row 13, such as Finnair, have occasionally leaned into the theme for marketing purposes, famously operating Flight 666 to Helsinki, on Friday the 13th using a 13-year-old aircraft that departed at 1300 hours. 1 o'clock.
Military time.
Right. See, another group of people that are just leaning into the entire superstition. Because there's going to be a market for people that would lean into that kind of thing.
Yeah, you gotta account for everyone that's gonna pay attention to that.
It reminds me of, I'm pretty sure it's a real thing, and I've read it a few different times, that Elvis Presley's marketer, his merch guy, sold stickers that said, I love Elvis, and he also sold stickers that said, I hate Elvis. So he was playing both sides and making money from both sides.
I mean, if you don't like something, just don't pay attention to it.
Right. You don't have to like it
for it to be there.
Right. Just don't participate with the thing.
Like, it's really not hard. Just no, I don't like this thing. Okay, I don't have to pay attention to it.
I don't like Ryan Gosling, so I'm not going to watch his movies. I don't know why. I don't like him. I just, like, when I see him in a movie, I'm like, I'm not going to watch that movie. I don't have a reason. I don't think... I don't know. So I just avoid his movies.
I don't have a reason to, like, hate or like him, so I'm neutral.
Right.
That's how I am to a lot of things.
So you just avoid it.
Yeah. In ground transportation, the taboo is less uniform. On Amtrak, locomotives and passenger cars frequently carry the number 13 without incident. However, railroads are not immune to numerological sensitivity. The Santa Fe Railway once renumbered a locomotive from 666 to 599 following crew complaints, and the East Broad Top Steam Railroad historically skipped the number 13 in its numbering sequence. While Greyhound and other bus services generally use consecutive numbering for seats, passengers often self-select away from seat 13 if other options are available, illustrating that while the company may not institutionalize the fear, the consumer often does.
Which is fine. It's there for the people that don't care. And if you do care, just avoid it. If you don't want to go to the 13th floor, don't.
It's simple, just avoid it.
The fear of Friday the 13th is not a universal human trait, but a specific Western cultural construct. In Spain and most of Latin America, the day of misfortune is Tuesday the 13th, Martes 13th. This belief is rooted in the Roman association of Tuesday with Mars, the god of war, symbolizing destruction and blood. The Spanish proverb, quote, on Tuesday do not marry, nor embark, nor leave your home, remains a potent social guideline in Hispanic countries. See, they don't care about your Friday the 13th, they care about their Tuesday the 13th.
Friday the 13th? They could care less. If it's Tuesday,
Oh dear.
don't go out. Stay home.
And that's another reason why it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. It's only a little stitious for me because why is this so bad in the United States of America? But when you go to Mexico, they're like, whatever. Or Spain, rather.
You'll be fine.
They're like, whatever. It's Friday the 13th. You're fine.
The world still spins. In Italy, the number 13 is traditionally viewed as lucky, associated with fertility and, quote, hitting the jackpot. The Italian Day of Dread is Friday the 17th. This fear stems from the Roman numeral 17, which is an anagram for...
Well, XVII, which is an anagram for...
a Latin phrase meaning I have lived.
Vixi, or VIXI.
Which was frequently inscribed on tombstones to imply that one's life is over. Consequently, Italian hotels may skip row 17, and carriers like Lufthansa skip both row 13 and row 17 on flights to Italy to accommodate both the international and local superstitions.
That's funny. Scientific investigations into the actual danger of Friday the 13th yield a fascinating duality between bad luck and behavioral modification. A landmark 1993 study published in the British Medical Journal analyzed traffic patterns and accidents on the M25 motorway near London. The data revealed that although significantly fewer vehicles were on the road on Friday the 13th, as about 1.4% of drivers stayed home, the rate of hospital admissions from traffic accidents rose by 52%. The researchers concluded that this was not a result of metaphysical bad luck, but of the, quote, psychological contribution of patterns. Superstitious drivers experience higher levels of anxiety and stress, which impair their concentration and led to more frequent errors. Self-fulfilling prophecy. I am so scared. Now I'm freaking out. And now, because I'm freaking out, make mistakes.
Just be chill about it. Like, oh, you can acknowledge that it's Friday the 13th, but you don't have to be like, oh my god, I'm gonna die today if I go do this.
Exactly.
Like, oh, it's Friday the 13th. Cool, some things may or may not happen today. I'll be fine. In contrast, a 2008 study by the Dutch Center for Insurance Statistics found that Friday the 13th was actually safer than other Fridays. They observed fewer reports of traffic accidents, fires, and thefts on that date. The statistician Alex Hohen has suggested that the awareness of the, quote, unlucky day led the population to be, quote, preventively more careful, illustrating that the superstition can act as a catalyst for increased safety rather than inevitable doom.
So that's the opposite. People are extra cautious. They're not freaking out. They're just extra cautious. From a clinical standpoint, the intense fear of 13 is categorized as a specific phobia under the broader umbrella of anxiety disorders. Psychotherapists like Donald Dawsey, who coined the term Triskaidekaphobia, and paraskevidekatriaphobia, emphasize that while most people recognize the fear as irrational, they remain powerless. They remain, quote, powerless to override their panic reaction. The primary psychological mechanism at play is, quote, confirmation bias. I think that's the term I was looking for earlier. Not necessarily self-fulfilling prophecy, but confirmation bias. A person who is superstitious about 13 will likely ignore any mishaps that occur on the 10th or 15th of the month, but will immediately attribute a broken dish or a missed train on the 13th to the date itself, thereby reinforcing the belief.
Treatment for severe cases involves cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, specifically exposure therapy. This process involves the systematic and controlled confirmation of the feared object, the number 13. A CBT practitioner may begin by having the patient write the number 13, then progress to sitting in the 13th row of a theater, and finally staying on the 13th floor of a building. Research shows that, quote, magical thinking typically reduces as individuals acquire more life experience and information, eventually understanding that the number is a neutral mathematical entity.
Knowledge is power over your stupid superstitions. The history of the 13 superstitions is a complex tapestry woven from mathematical theory, ancient mythology, and modern media influence. There is no single person responsible for making 13 unlucky through the financier, though the financier, Thomas W. Lawson, was the primary architect of its modern Friday the 13th branding in 1907. The persistent belief that one should worry about 13th floors or 13th seats is unsupported by engineering statistical reality. Indeed, the only genuine risk associated with the number is the stress and anxiety it induces in the observer.
For the modern professional and traveler, the following conclusions can be considered. 13 floors and seats are structurally identical to their neighbors. Their omission is a marketing and psychological strategy, not a safety precaution. The 52% increase in accidents noted in some studies suggests that the fear of the day is more dangerous than the day itself. Reducing anxiety through rational engagement is the most effective safety measure. Because of the widespread avoidance of the date, many retailers and travel providers offer significant discounts on Friday the 13th, making it a statistically safer and cost-effective time for the non-superstition-prone individual to conduct business.
Ultimately, 13 remains unlucky only as long as is treated as an anomaly. By understanding the historical, clerical errors, and mythological coincidences that birth the phobia, society can begin to reclaim the number as a simple integer, devoid of the shadows cast by ancient banquets and medieval executions. Do you fear the 13?
Not really. I feel like I'm more one of the 13 club type people.
Mm-hmm.
I'd lead more into it because it's like, oh, it's a little overreacting here.
Yep.
That's what I feel.
How about a B? A B is like a smushed together 13.
What?
Look, see?
Oh, yeah. I never realized that.
So should people should fear B too if they fear 13?
I don't have any B's in my name, so.
No, I don't either. Do any of us? Let me think about that. No? Not your mother? Not your older sister? Not the next one? Not the next one.
We're a B-list family.
Interesting.
We're full of N's, though.
Oh, yeah. There's N's everywhere.
And a couple E's in there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. There it is. We did it.
It'll be okay. 13 won't hurt you.
Is that what we're going to tell everybody? 13 won't hurt you?
Yeah.
Friday the 13th won't hurt you either.
Go out and party.
It's Wednesday the 15th you have to watch out for.
Yeah, that's the day you'll lose your job.
No. Question brought.
Question answered.